Hey, I'm Julie Tam, managing broker of LYN Realty in Houston, Texas. Thank you for joining me for my weekly Wednesday series, Smarter Real Estate, where I arm you with practical strategies to be a smarter buyer, seller, tenant, or landlord, and also take you along for some of my real estate adventures. Today, we're talking about fraud in real estate and a few key areas. One of the big ones that is getting worse and really takes a lot of money from people is wire fraud. Another one is fake listings. And another one that, actually the fraudsters are trying to bilk title companies out of are when they are presenting fake cashier's checks to buy a property. And there's all sorts of other, fraud that can happen as well. But these are kind of the three biggies. And I wanted to start with the wire fraud one. You've probably seen news stories where people have lost their life savings because they wired money thinking they were sending it to the title company to close on the purchase of their new home, when instead they actually sent it to the scam artist, and now they're out of all the money. Sometimes the money has gone overseas, and it will take, the FBI and investigators from the US just so long to try to track it down that they may not ever track it down. And so you're talking about down payments, or in cases where people pay cash for their homes. I mean, potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars, at the very least tens of thousands of dollars, usually. So it's a really sad and bad situation. And so I want to tell you some tips that I've gotten from title companies that have seen so much of this, so that you don't fall victim. So first of all, let me do a screen share. I am in my home office right now. So I want to be able to show you some of these wire fraud alerts, these flyers that we've received from various title companies, where they're really taking this seriously. The main thing is this: when you are going into escrow with a title company, okay, typically if you're represented by an agent, a real estate agent or a real estate broker like myself, you're going to get kind of an introductory email from a title company, okay? And I've just kind of put up an assortment of flyers from different title companies to give you an idea of what's out there, because pretty much all the title companies are sending out alerts like this. So they're going to send you an intro email, like, thank you for choosing to close with our company, etc. Here is a copy of the receipted contract to show that we've received your contract, the receipts filled in. And here are some instructions, right? So they may provide you with wiring instructions right at the outset, or they may wait some days before providing it while you're under contract. But here is the key: if they've provided you with wiring instructions, the instructions are not going to change. They're not going to change banks or change account numbers or change account names. And that's the key thing, is a lot of these scam artists, they come in the middle of a transaction and they've gotten really sophisticated. They will spoof emails of the title company, right? So let's say the escrow officer of the title company's name is Amanda Chen. So her email address is Amanda Chen at titlecompany.com. But then what happens is the scam artist will then spoof the email. You'll receive an email from Amanda Chen. It'll just be a little bit off, perhaps Amanda.Chen, or Amanda underscore Chen, just some sort of tiny variation, or maybe capital A on Amanda versus lowercase. So you just may not notice it because you're not looking that closely, and you just see an email from Amanda Chen. And you think, okay, she's giving me some different instructions for the wiring, so I'm going to go ahead and wire since these are the updated instructions. And they will hack into the email of the title company, or of one of the parties to the real estate transaction, or one of the agents, and be able to actually go through and get enough information where they know the property address, the names of all the different people involved, and the closing date and things. So they'll actually include details that will make it seem very real, and you will just be duped. So you can see this is a really clear, visual consumer alert wire fraud. You can see it says stop, contact this particular title company, verify the wiring instructions, and then wire funds to the escrow account. Here's the deal: don't click on a link within an email to go to the title company's website, or call a phone number within an email, because that could already be the scam artist spoofing the title company's email. You want to go to Google and put in search for the title company's website. I don't know. I haven't heard of any scam artists getting that sophisticated where they're literally creating an entire website that looks super professional and, and spoofing the title company. But I'm sure if that hasn't happened already, that's next. So what you want to do though is really Google and make sure this is like top search result, kind of look down the page, make sure, okay, this is really the title company. Typically title companies, I mean, there's some smaller ones, but a lot of them will have multiple offices. Okay. If it's not a few, it's across the entire state or across the city or across even the entire country, right? Some of the big name ones. So if you land on a title company website, say for Stewart Title or Fidelity, or one of these big name ones where their website is going to have lots of locations, it's going to look very professional, and you see something that doesn't look quite right, then that's probably not right. And so you want to be able to call and actually speak to the escrow officer or their assistant at the title company that it's really them, and then find out verify those instructions. Say, look, I've got instructions from you, but I want you to tell me what is the correct bank name, account number, routing number that I'm supposed to send to, and who is the recipient, and so that you can verify that. Here's another one. This one even says in the yellow here, the attached wiring instructions are missing the last 4 digits of the account number for the bank. You will need to contact this title company to find out. So, I mean, they're all sending the same message, and essentially you just need to watch out because there's all these bad guys out there who are really trying to get folks money. Okay, so that's one area of fraud. I mentioned another one of fake listings. So we hear about this. We'll get calls from consumers saying, "Hey, I saw your listing on Craigslist or on Zillow or some other website that's not the official Houston area website for realtors to list properties." And they'll say that, you're actually leasing this property for, let's say, $1,000. But then I thought that just seemed weird. There was something about it. Once I contacted the person who listed the property, and we tried to make an appointment to show, and some of the things that they were saying just didn't seem quite right. So I decided to do a little bit more digging, and I went to har.com. Okay, that is the official Houston site for real estate listings. It stands for Homes and Rentals, and also stands for Houston Association of Realtors, which is the original acronym of what HAR stands for. And so then they'll look on there and realize, oh, the rent is actually 1,500, not 1,000. And so what these scam artists are doing is making it seem really attractive so that someone will bite, someone will quickly want to lease this property because it is really literally too good to be true. And so what happens though is in some of these cases, these consumers will actually send deposit money to the scam artist, thinking they're sending it to the actual landlord. They won't be able to get in to see the property, and so the scam artist thinks, or will basically make some excuse as to why, oh, they're not available to show or whatnot, and or what the situation is with the property, and they'll target and be able to somehow find just the right consumer who buys that, and is actually okay with just seeing the photos, or maybe there's a video tour and not needing to go see the property in person. And so they'll be like, okay, well, I'll just go ahead and lease it. Let me go ahead and send over my deposit. And that's the end of that. So don't fall into that trap. Use HAR. That's the official website, and you're going to get legitimate listings listed by realtors. And if there's anything that's, done on there that's wrong or whatever, at least you have an entire realtor association backing it, and the Texas Real Estate Commission also backing it, where you have an official place to complain and get something rectified, where if someone does false advertising or whatnot. But these are real realtors, and these are real listings. Okay, so you're going to just have much, much, much better luck than going anywhere else. The third and final type of fraud that I mentioned that I'll talk about is the reason why some title companies will not let you bring a cashier's check to closing for your down payment or for your entire full cash payment for the property if you're paying cash, because they've encountered fraud where people will present a fake cashier's check and close on the property. Now they've gotten ownership of the property, the deeds recorded and everything, and then that check actually ends up being a fake. And that's really, really bad. So they're requiring people to actually wire money. So that way, really, there's money that goes from one bank account to the title company's bank account, from the buyer to the title company, and actually goes through. It's real money. It hits. And so then the transfer of ownership of the property happens legitimately. So you can just have all sorts of title issues, when that happens. Anyway, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, suggestions for future episodes, please don't hesitate to reach out to me by message or comment. And I hope you will like and subscribe and continue to watch Smarter Real Estate. My mouth is getting dry. Smarter Real Estate weekly on Wednesdays. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great week. Bye-bye.